What's up, guys? This is one of the overall health modules. Okay, what is health, right? There's so many aspects to health, and for me, health is something you can't buy. Sure, you can buy all the food for it, all the low toxin stuff, but health is how you feel, how your body moves, how you feel going upstairs, how your body handles stress. These all things encapsulate health to me. Also, inner work, like how is your mental? How do you feel when rejection happens or abandonment happens? Or how do you feel, when your friend cancels plans on you? Or how do you feel when your job is getting overwhelming? All these things play into health for me. And that's why I think not only is physical health really, really important, but mental health is just as important. Spiritual health, amazing too. I'm not really, the best at that, but yes, all these things encapsulate what it means to be healthy. I think one thing is you could be a billionaire, but if you're unhealthy, it's like they would pay hundreds of millions of dollars to make them healthy, but unfortunately, it takes work. It takes what you're eating, how your environment is, how you move your body, what your habits look like. Like people, wealthy people on their deathbed wish that they had more time to live, and you can't buy that. Doing these things are really important to help you live a longer, healthier life. So, Austin, hit me.
Well, what are the most important things to consider when maintaining your mental and physical health?
I think I think the one of the biggest things for me would be sleep. So getting quality sleep is huge because if you are sleeping bad, your mental health is going to be destroyed. Your physical health, you're not going to want to work out. You're not going to want to move. You're going to be tired. Everything is lethargic. You don't want to make food. It's a lot easier to go and get fast food when it's like, oh, I'm tired. I don't feel like doing it. Um, so quality sleep is huge for sure. And if you're not getting quality sleep, your diet isn't as beneficial. Your movement is harder to do. So that's a huge thing. Developing a personal care routine. So, for instance, like shaving and having affirmations and these inner work practices are really important to just really start to rewire and reframe your brain and how you cope with certain things in life. So, for me, I did years of therapy after a really hard breakup, and it was the best thing I've ever done for my mental health for sure. And I'm going to give you all some of the practices that I've learned from that. But yeah, I had like a really harsh breakup where I was dating like a really good girl at the time, and I messed it up. And that sent me into the path of inner work and figuring out, okay, why did I do this? Why do I keep repeating these patterns? What in my childhood has caused me to think like this as a human being? So many of these things. Yeah, and then just like your environment. Your environment's huge. We did a whole module on that, and just creating your environment up for setting it up for success. So yeah, those are key things for me.
So, you always talk about how important it is to take care of your skin and your hair, apart from just the plain discomfort of them being unhealthy. Why would you say it's crucial for someone to use natural and healthier products?
Um, well, our skin is our body's biggest organ, and it absorbs so much of everything we put on our body. It absorbs it. So, the lotion I put on my skin every day, it doesn't just disappear. Like our body naturally absorbs it. So, our skin and our hair, it's a good reflection of our health. You can really see quickly if somebody is about that life or not. Like usually they have glowing skin and a different aura around them, and they just have like our gut is expressed through our skin, and people that have certain skin conditions or just a lot of imperfections, I'll call it, on their face, it's mainly through their diet, through their exercise, through their mental health. It all stems and it kind of shows on our skin. Our hair is another one. If you have, sometimes it's genetics, but if you have a bad receding hairline and whatnot, these are tweaks that we can make in our vitamin and mineral deficiency to grow back hair or to stop the thinning of it. And then, yeah, just having that, the personal appearance is huge for sure, just because it translates so much elsewhere. So, yeah.
And some people are using like bad products too. Like what products are harmful for your skin and hair?
Yeah, I mean, I think immediately like the shower water. We talked about this, how chlorine's like really bad on our skin and our hair, and just using even like Head and Shoulders, they tout that it's clean and it's going to help you regrow your hair, but in fact, there is an ingredient in it, and it's a long one, and I forget exactly the name, but it leads to hair loss. And guess what? Head and Shoulders sells a product, another product that is to promote hair growth. It's pretty wild what these mega conglomerates do to um, make more products so that we can keep consuming and we're in the cycle forever. So yeah, those are big ones for sure. Yeah, it's the synthetic additives that they had in them is horrible. The sulfates, the phthalates, the fragrances, the parabens. I could keep going. It's pretty bad. Even in lotion, like the petrolatum, they have so many other ingredients that natural is the way. Natural is the way. Bringing it back to the earth. What does our earth give us to give our skin and our hair and our whole life more of a beautiful ambiance? So yeah, that's huge.
Okay, so I think a lot of people get confused on the topic of hormones. Can you start by explaining what they are and why it's important that we regulate them?
Okay. Yes, most definitely. Actually, I want to go back to that last question. Sorry, I'm gonna have you read me that. But yeah, as far as the ingredients too, I'm thinking right off the top of my mind, like we have a lot of aloe in our products, a lot of rosemary oil, coconut oil. These things are really good for our hair and our skin, especially our hair roots to stimulate hair growth. Tea tree oil is really good as well. Let's see, what other things? Jojoba oil, shea butter. All these things are natural. They're really good moisturizers. Jojoba oil helps balance out our natural hair oil production. So yeah, these things are crucial. Argan oil is really good too. Keratin, biotin, honey. Honey is a really good one. Vitamin E oil, rosehip oil, peppermint oil as well. Yeah, so yeah, and then just be careful to look out for the sulfates, the parabens, ingredients that you can't understand and pronounce. Big red flag. Big red flag. Sodium lauryl sulfate, sodium lethyl sulfate. Gosh, all the phthalates. These are all endocrine disruptors, fertility issues, all that. So formaldehyde's another big one. Yeah. So okay, go ahead. Sorry, read the question again. My bad.
Okay, so I think a lot of people get confused on the topic of hormones. Can you start by explaining what they are and why it's important that we regulate them?
Yeah, so of course, y'all have heard about testosterone. Even women, women have a lot of estrogen, pro, wow, it's progesterone. My goodness, um, all these hormones we have in our body, and naturally out the gate where we should have thriving hormones, but there's so many factors that decrease that, whether it's our environment, whether it's what we're putting on our skin, putting in our body as far as food, our mental health, our ability to cope with stress. All these things affect our hormones. Our sleep, sleep's huge, and all these little things add up so much. But as far as like it controls, our hormones control our mood. Our hormones control how much we grow, whether it's muscle, whether it's physical, like bone health. Um, Reproduction or for fertility is controlled by our hormones. Our libido, our sex drive is controlled by our hormones, of course, right? Uh, our sleep, melatonin, we naturally produce melatonin. And when we take a synthetic version of that, our body produces less of our natural one. So we then tend to rely on that. Or, with steroids, if we're taking a steroid, our body is going to naturally produce less testosterone, which is not good over time. Metabolism also. So understanding our hormones, we don't have to go into the weeds about it, but just realizing that our sleep, our food, and our personal care products play a huge effect into our hormones is really important. The imbalance of certain hormones, you can have bad weight gain, you can have insomnia, crazy fatigue, mood swings. Not good, not good. You shouldn't feel like that. You should not feel like that. And if you have those often, it probably means your hormones are out of balance. By dialing in all these things that we talk about, you're going to feel so much better. So much better.
Okay, so let's move on to the topic of sleep. I feel like a lot of people don't take this seriously enough. Can you
Mm.
explain how it contributes to our health?
Our sleep is huge. When I joined the Marine Corps, they said that one of the biggest torture tactics that any army has used is the sleep deprivation tactic, because I don't know about you, but when I get 5, 6 hours of sleep randomly because I have to wake up for something early in the airport, whatever, I feel like crap most of the day. Now, these prisoners of war, if they are sleep deprived for days on end, you start to literally go insane. Like, you start to have mental breakdowns. So sleep is huge, and getting a lot of it is so beneficial for our body, so beneficial for many natural processes in our body, the metabolism, the restoration of muscles and the growth of such, energy, of course, not having brain fog. Sleep is a need. It's not an option. It is a need. This has to be main priority for sure. You could be very dialed in with your nutrition. You could lift 2 to 3 times a week, but if your sleep is crap, everything else is almost does not matter at that point. So sleep is huge. A couple of things that help me sleep better is being off my electronics at least 30 minutes before bed. I've gotten a lot better at this recently because I realized when I'm on Instagram late at night and stuff like that, and I'm getting all these inputs from everybody else, I'm like not able to like just think of my like independently. So cutting off electronics, huge. Blackout curtains, another easy biohack. If you're not waking up with the sun at 6 a.m., get some blackout curtains so that your room is pitch black. It should be like a cave, cold, dark, and quiet. That's what your sleep environment should resemble. If you have an air purifier going on, great. That's good, like a little background noise. Um, Another thing is cut out caffeine at least 6 hours. I think 8 hours before you sleep because it residually lasts in your body until then. So if you're going to bed at 10 and you have a coffee at 4 p.m., it's going to affect your sleep negatively. Let's see what's another important thing. Not taking melatonin. 5-minute guided meditation on YouTube, free, just to get your body into a parasympathetic state, a tired state. Journaling is a good way to get your mind off of what's going on in the world, and you can just put your mind onto the paper. I also have like a pen and pencil next to my bed that I just write down things that I need to get off my brain, whether it's to-do list, content ideas. Oh, I need to call my grandma tomorrow, blah, blah, write it down. So um, super important. And what's really cool is I have this Aura ring, and it tracks a lot of like biomarkers, a lot of biometrics that I wouldn't otherwise have. Not important, but it's cool because it does track sleep as far as REM, which is rapid eye movement, deep and light sleep. And it's important to get a certain amount of each of those. I don't know the specifics, but everybody's kind of different with that. But super important. Maintaining a consistent sleep schedule. Not going to bed, or going to bed at like 9 to 11 p.m. is pretty darn good for 95% of people. Going to bed after midnight, believe me, it's tough for me too sometimes. It does not help you out. It does not assist you. You actually, in fact, lose a cycle of your deep sleep if you're going past midnight with your sleep. So, yeah. Was that the full question?
Yep.
Sleep? Okay,
Yeah, you hit both of them.
cool.
Moving on, what is inner work and why do you feel it's important?
I just term it inner work. I think it's just like, what does. So, from ages, I believe 3 to 8, our brain is so vulnerable. Our perspective on life is so vulnerable. And that's when we create our perspective of the world, our parents, our upbringing. So much of our childhood has an effect and carries on to our later years in life. And for me, for instance, like I've worked on tremendously and still have a little bit a fear of abandonment, a fear of rejection, body image issues, external validation. I seek external validation a lot. Um, Fear of commitment. These things have started from my childhood. Like my parents divorced at a young age, and I felt abandoned in a way. And um, I seek external validation sometimes, and have body image issues because Middle school and most of high school, I was super short, super skinny. And so I was made fun of quite a bit. I even got a stick thrown in my eye that had eye surgery in my right eye and had a patch over my eye for a whole year. And that was horrible. I got made fun of like crazy. And so with that, my later parts of high school, I started to work out, started to get into sports and stuff like that. And I started to get validation from looking better aesthetically. And so that's how I gained validation for myself. Oh, do I have a six pack abs? Do I have good biceps? Okay, then I'm worthy of being loved, which is not true. So inner work to me is like understanding why I think a certain way, why others think a certain way. And it's like, why do I get triggered about certain things? And it all usually stems from childhood. And um, our therapist is really going to help you dial in, and especially a therapist you vibe with is going to really help you dial in those things and why we think a certain way. I would recommend a good book if you can't afford a therapist is How to Do the Work by Dr. Nicole Perla. Amazing. It's like a self-starter guide to understanding yourself from an internal point of view. So it's super amazing. This has brought so much more joy and fulfillment to my life. I don't react not nearly as harsh as I would to things that would trigger me before. I understand why I react a certain way. I'm able to communicate better with my loved ones, with people around me because of that. I'm able to hold better boundaries that allow me to have a more peaceful life. So that's really important for me.
All right. And you kind of touched on some of them, but what are your favorite inner work practices and how can people start to incorporate them into their own lives?
Definitely that book is huge because it's definitely a blueprint or a planner of how to get started with the inner work for sure and do it for $14 or however the book is, however much the book is. And then, you get a journal with that. Journaling is huge for me just because, once again, you don't need a therapist to do it. You get your mind, you get out of your head, and you get it onto paper, whatever you're thinking. We'll have some journal prompts in the jungle. Um, meditation is a good way to calm down. How many of us are stimulated all the time? Computer, phone, whatever. We're always getting an influx of things. But when are we ever like sitting down in like quietness and stillness? For me, I don't do it too often. For me, it's literally first thing in the morning or last thing at night when I don't have my phone around and I'm still like thinking of crap. So, a guided meditation is a really good way to sit there and try to focus on your freaking breathing, and it's going to help you focus, and you're going to have random thoughts pop up and you're able to kind of explore those and work through those. So those really help me. um, let's see, those are big. I mean, yeah, meditation's huge, journaling huge, also getting out of your head into your body. Yoga has been another big practice for me with that. um, it's just breath to movement. So guys, I know it's like almost kind of weird to start or just to even do yoga because it's been such a women centric um, sport, I almost want to call it, but just a movement practice. And that's not the case. And also, you probably find a really good girlfriend, by the way, in yoga.
Hmm.
Side note, but it allows you have to focus on certain poses, you have to do certain movements, and literally all you can focus on is doing that. You aren't thinking about the to-do list. You aren't thinking about school or work the next day or your mom yelled at you for not having a bed made. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to be there and then. You have to be present. You have to be going through these movements and focusing on your breathing, or else you'll fall over, or else you're like having a really tough time. And there's an instructor that's guiding you through everything and coaching you through how to breathe, and it's like really freaking cool. Not to mention yoga pants. Come on, who doesn't love those? So helps you reduce stress, anxiety, depression, your flexibility, your balance, your strength, your breathing, all that. So it helps me go out of my mind and into my body, which is really, really good for the inner work. So the more you're able to do that, the more you're, maybe you have a triggering event, the more you're like, okay, let me stop right here. What am I actually feeling? Why am I feeling this way? Where does this stem from? And you can start to reparent yourself. Um, Mindfulness is another big one. So yeah, just like that, being mindful of like, oh, why did this person cutting me off in traffic like trigger me so much? Like, why am I so pissed at that? Like, is that really going to matter in an hour or two or tomorrow? Like, does it matter? Like, who cares, right? So yeah, those are really huge for me, and those are free pretty much.
In regards to physical health and fitness, why do you think it's crucial to have it as part of your regular routine?
Well, as human beings, we're meant to move. You know, if you are sedentary, you can't move your body in fun waves. And who doesn't love having fun? Who doesn't love moving around? Maybe throwing the frisbee with their buds, maybe going surfing, maybe going for a walk. Like, I want to be 80, 90 years old and still to be able to do these things. These things bring me so much joy, and like, sure, sitting in my butt right now, it's like comfortable, right? But when I'm outside and I'm moving and I'm getting fresh air and I'm getting sunlight, I feel so much better. Um, there's so many mental health benefits, and the people that don't work out, that's like, it's so much easier to get anxiety, so much easier to get ADHD and ADD and depression. It's because our bodies are meant to move. You don't have to lift 7 days a week. You don't have to go on strenuous walks every single day. Little things add up. Little numbers add up. So doing these little things to be able to cope with stress. So to be able to, lift some heavy weights every once in a while, or go to yoga. Like, do these things that aren't necessarily like, yay, I'm eating cake and hang out with my friends, super fun, right? Yeah, sometimes when I go to lift, I'm not looking forward to it, but in the moment, I'm like, oh, dang, this feels good. And then especially after, I feel a lot better. So stress reduction is huge. Um, it also improves your confidence, your self-esteem, even like losing that weight or gaining that muscle. It feels freaking good. And it almost gets addicting to the point where it's like, oh, I just gained like a half inch on my biceps. Dang, let's go for another half inch next month, So it's a compounding effect, a positive compounding effect. And like, it helps your brain function. It's social interaction, going to the gym. This is another tough thing, y'all. I'm so glad you're in the community, because you get to link up with like-minded people, talk to each other in comments below. It's so sweet. I love seeing it. And we all get to converse, but like, you need this community in person too. So going to yoga, going to the gym, talking to other people, believe me, they're probably just as scared to like talk to other people too, but it's like, this is how we get to meet people. This is how we get to interact. We're human beings. We need a community. We need a community. So also, physical activity is really good for sleep. Y'all know, you did a ton of activity during the summer one day and you are exhausted at night. And all you want to do is sleep, and you slept so damn good. Physical activity is huge for that. So, and then I think the most important, all these tied together, quality of life, longevity. These are imperative for living longer. If you want to live a long time, you gotta do a little physical activity. And like I said, it doesn't have to be CrossFit every freaking day, but here and there adds up for sure. So quality of life and longevity for me are the reasons why I do what I do, because I want to feel as good as possible for as long as possible.
All right. What are some of your favorite things to stay active other than weights and cardio?
Yeah, for sure. So to me, like, I sometimes get bored of weight training. Like, I really do. Like, it is, I like the way I look when I weight train a lot, of course, but for me, it's just not super fun. I used to really love lifting and going to the gym. Maybe it's because the mold toxicity I've been dealing with lately hasn't been giving me the energy that, I otherwise would have. But walking, walking alone, like just going for a walk in the morning or night or both, especially after a big dinner, really good for your gut, your processes. Um, Biking, you can get a bike off Craigslist for 50 to $100. You can see so much more of your neighborhood. Um, Surfing, if you have access to the ocean, so much fun. My boy Austin and I surf. We love it. It's such a good way to be off our phones, to get cardio in, to get sunlight in, to be in the mineral dense water, to get thrashed around a little bit. So it's good for our ego to get crushed every once in a while. I'm not a huge runner, but running is good too. Don't run every single day for long distance, but definitely good as well. Yoga, of course. Pilates for y'all women. Men, you can do it too. I want to do it. I've heard it's like really tough. Pilates is great. That's also a great little community. Gosh, there's so many physical activities. I mean, there's so many community-based physical activities too. That's really cool. You can do martial arts, whether it's jujitsu, Muay Thai. Um, yeah, so I love all those for sure. Team sports. that's amazing. You know, if you sign up for a rec hockey league, flag football, tackle, whatever, like all these things, so good for you. You know, teamwork. Once again, being in that community, working toward a common goal is so good for us.
And what are some of the strategies you personally use to help you implement and stay consistent with a health plan?
Hmm. Okay. I mean, staying consistent is huge. So, like yo-yo dieting, like being on and off, is really tough for us. And in fact, usually people will do a lot of self-sabotage when they get off the diet, right? Like they, oh, Austin, I'm horrible, blah blah. I like ate like crap all week, and then they like, gosh, you shouldn't do that. And then they go in the sauna for an hour, and then cardio for an hour that day, and then they like abuse themselves. And it's like the next time you got to do that, it's even harsher. So, being consistent, habit stacking, doing those little things like waking up in the morning, drinking a glass of water, and getting some sun, and then building on those habits is crucial. Um, and then also not going 0 to 100. So starting small, grow big. That's another affirmation my therapist taught me. Start small, grow big. So start with these little habits, do them for a week or two, and make sure that you can do it every single day, if not 5 to 6 days a week. Um, and then build on that. And then eventually your good habits will outweigh the bad, and then you won't have a lot of bad habits anymore. So you can also use technology to keep you accountable. Like I really like this Aura Ring because I get to see, oh wow, my sleep score last night was a 75. Like let me see why. Let me try to beat myself tonight. So that's pretty cool. Also, you can use apps for, calculating your physical activity or your nutrients, all that kind of stuff. Um, Staying consistent, maybe time management, maybe be like Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I'm going to go to the gym for 45 minutes. That's an easy way to do it. Um, Buying yourself nice workout clothes. It feels like when you look good, it feels easier to go to the gym, and optimizing your environment as such. So, like, creating a healthier environment around you is a lot easier to be healthy. So, when I have good food, when I have my air purifier going, my reverse osmosis system, I'm surrounding myself with good things that my body needs to thrive. And so it just makes all the other stuff that's harder seem a little easier. Um, and then, yeah, like incorporating movement into my daily routine. So a little stretching routine in the morning is huge just to get my body. I've been like stiff all night, lying there like a board like SpongeBob. It's nice to get some fluidity in. And social support is another big one. Going to the gym, going to surf, yoga, whatever, being in these little communities is going to make you want to do it more. You're going to have more accountability because these people that are in this community are relying on you to show up. And then you're relying on them to show up because they're homies, and you want to do it together. And yeah, so yeah, guys, I'm stoked. And I hope that this community, y'all can find some people local to your area that you can meet up with. And it'd be so sick, man. It'd be so freaking cool. So yeah. That's it, I think, right?
Yep, that's
Okay.
it.
Awesome. Thanks, guys. I'm stoked, man. Y'all, we're doing this thing. We're doing this thing. The inner work, the physical work, they're all synergistic to each other. They're all really, really, really important. So we're gonna do this, and believe me, don't go to 0 to 100. Let's start small and let's grow big. Let's work on these little things, and let's progress together. Much love, y'all.